In today's episode of your favorite program, Spectacle on Television Nigerian, we will be looking at the recent order by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, against President Muhammadu Buhari in faraway Japan. Recall that the leader of the group, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, had ordered them to attack and disgrace President Muhammadu Buhari, who had gone to the country to participate in the 7th Tokyo International Conference on African Development. Members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, were caught on camera protesting peacefully on the street of Japan. They were carrying different placards with different encrypted messages. Meanwhile, the Haneze Ndibu Youth Council Worldwide issued a statement on Tuesday that the order from the acclaimed leader against President Muhammadu Buhari in Japan would portray Ndibu as terrorist group if they go ahead with their planned attack. However, the question now is whether Ipob or Ndibu are the same, because the Ipob group has been proscribed by the FG. It therefore means they are regarded as terrorist group. Their action, especially the recent one in faraway Germany against the former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, is a proof to the international community on the possible threat Ipob could be to national and international security. What is your take on this? The numbers on the screen, and for your participation, the numbers are displayed on the screen, and for the benefit of the vision impaired ones, the numbers are 08137015949 and 07054327616. But before we begin to take your calls and text messages, I have analysts in the studio that would be doing justice to this topic concurrently with your takes. I have Right Comrade Acha Johnson in the studio. Right Comrade Acha Johnson is by my left. He's a political scientist, a former student union president from the University of Nkara. He is right now the convener for Good Governance African Group. Acha is not alone in the studio with me. I also have Mr. Silvanus Okpe, a far-right comrade and an esquire. Mr. Silvanus, you are welcome to Spectacle. Comrade Acha.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Now, of course, you've heard the introduction. I will begin with you. Apart from that particular threat by Ipob leader Nnamdi Kanu, we have series of tapes that some of the members abroad are issuing that Nigerians, especially politicians from Nigeria as a country, should not come to countries in the EU, in the US or India to seek medical help or for anything, and that if they see President Muhammadu Buhari or anybody, even their children schooling abroad, that they will deal decisively with such people. Is this threat is this a national threat now, a national and international threat, or what is it becoming from Ipob right now?
Thank you very much. Well, the threat from Ipob, it's one that we should be very concerned about, because in as much as they lack the real capacity to go ahead with their threats, one must not push aside those threats.
Exactly.
Because taking into cognizance what happened to Ekweremadu far away in Germany, it shows that our politicians might be safe in Nigeria, but not safe abroad. Why? Because they cannot, they don't afford that luxury of having policemen, go around and go about with them. They don't have it over there abroad.
Okay.
But tagging their threat as a national security concern or an international one, I don't think it's really a national. It calls for a national security concern. Why?
Okay.
Why? Because the truth is that even that threat they issued is very difficult to carry it out. As regards to other politicians, they can do that maybe to their own eastern politicians to the Igbo politicians, in which I believe deserve it. Why do I believe so?
Okay, why do you believe that Igbo politicians deserve to be malhandled in foreign countries?
Okay, not just in foreign countries, even on the Nigerian soil, they should be manhandled, because the issue of Ipob, Ipob believes that yes, the Igbos in Nigeria have been marginalized, especially after the Civil War. Okay. Even leading towards the Civil War, the Igbos have always been marginalized, but the Igbos lack unity.
Okay.
And their leaders are solely responsible for the underdevelopment in the East, because their leaders, since the inception of democracy, their leaders have been collecting a federal remuneration from the federal government. Have not been collecting allocations. They have been collecting allocations. Or their senators have been collecting money, to develop their land. But why is their land not developed? Why are there no medical facilities there? Why are there no road? Why are there no infrastructures? Are the governors not coming up with IGRs? So their problem is the thing of even leadership.
Okay. All right. I'll come back to you again. You said probably the threat might not be international or national call for security concern. Yes. And you had Comrade Acha Silvanus, Ipob and Ndibo. Are they synonymous?
First, before I begin, I would like to register my displeasure with the treatment meted to the person of distinguished Senator Eke Kweremadu in Germany by the IPOB members.
All right.
It is uncalled for.
We'll show that very soon.
It is uncalled for, and I am disheartened by that display of barbarity by a section of Nigeria I hold dear. I was born and bred in the Igbo nation. So I expect them to possess a modicum of respect for leaders who have become just like who have become godlike in respect and admiration in the East. Ike Kweremadu is a constitutional lawyer and a parliamentarian by excellence. So in juxtaposing the Igbo and IPOB, whether Igbo is the same with IPOB, I will disagree with that.
Okay.
IPOB is a group that has been denounced by many Igbo nations, many members of the Igbo nations, even many states in the East, like the Abia state government of Okezekpas recently banned all activities of IPOB in the state.
Okay, good.
And IPOB has been proscribed in Nigeria legally by the courts of the land. So saying that IPOB is the same thing with Igbo is like saying that all Igbos are terrorists.
No,
because an IPOB organization, the whole organization is a terrorist group, and the activities are banned, remains proscribed in the Constitution of the Federal Republic.
All right. Let's. I will come back to you, but like we said that the calls could come in. This man is calling, so let's see how his take. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name and where you are calling from?
Yeah, Kenneth calling from Bagwadada.
Okay, Mr. Kenneth, you saw the advertorial.
Yeah.
What's your take on Ipob threat, Ipob order? Is it a national or international threat?
If I would chip in, it's a national threat.
Okay.
I don't see serious why their leader, Nnamdi Kanu, cannot be repatriated back to Nigeria. If the federal government knows where he's staying, it's left for the federal government to make to discuss with the country where he's staying, so that he can be bring back to the country and face the music.
Okay.
What the Kanu is doing is very, very bad. Gradually growing and it's becoming. I believe they're proscribed at one certain time as a terrorist group. Right?
Yes, of recent.
But they are getting out of hand. They should treat them like the terrorists they are. Look at just last month or early this month, Senator Ike Kweremadu was harassed, was seriously beaten. Why?
All right.
How many days ago, President Muhammadu Buhari traveled to Japan? I was watching it online. So many of his boys are in Japan that they are waiting for him, even as far as going to the embassy. What kind of thing is that?
All right. You have the opinion that Nigeria should use diplomatic tie with Israel among the United Nations treaty to repatriate Nnamdi Kanu back to Nigeria.
What I'm thinking of, if Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for a good cause, why not come back to Nigeria and do that? Why stay in the country? Why be in the coward?
It's okay.
Okay, so that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much for that contribution, Kenneth Ankpa.
All right, thank you.
Thank God. Now, before we continue, I would like us to watch this brief tape in faraway Germany, what happens to a Kwerimadu. I think is a minute clip, so that I will ask you the question why I said is Ndigbo and Ipob synonymous.
People are dying on daily basis. People are dying on daily basis. People are really praying for nothing.
Of course, that you've seen the video footage of that event that took place in faraway Germany. And Comrade Acha, I was asking if it is synonymous, because the youth wing of Haneze Ndibu came out day before yesterday to denounce Ipob. Do you think it's happening late?
It is not. In fact, Ekweremadu, after arriving in Abuja, was received a tumultuous welcome from Haneze Ndibu youths in Enugu. Thousands of Igbo youths gathered to welcome their hero in Enugu International Airport.
Okay.
Akanubiam International Airport in Enugu. And you cannot say that they represent that IPOB and Ndigbo alliance, both in principle, both in strategy, both in interest. They have a clear demarcation. Ndigbo as a nation have a clear demarcation from IPOB. Ndigbo have a leader. The leader of Haneze Ndigbo remains Chief Nneanwodo. The leader of Igbo leaders of thought is Professor Ben Nwabeze. And IPOB self-acclaimed leader who cannot even remain in Nigeria to fight the cause of Biafra is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who swindled a lot of Nigerians, swindled a lot of Igbo businessmen from abroad and ran away. If it's very serious, why is he not coming to participate in these attacks? Why is he not staying in Nigeria? I am privileged to have read Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela, how he fought for the eradication of the apartheid policy there. We saw that there was a time he flew away, went to canvass for support. He came back even when he knew that they were looking for him.
All right.
That's what a leader does.
Thank you, Mr. Silvanus. I'll get back to you. You have anything to say towards that before I ask you another question?
Well, in as much as I don't support, you see, you cannot take away Ipob from Ndigbo.
Okay.
Why do I say so? They are all Igbos. You understand? But Ndigbo is like the general umbrella that covers everybody. But you should know that Ipob, the agitation of Ipob is an ideology. These guys are propagating an ideology. And you know that an ideology
of secession.
Yes, of secession. And in a democratical system such as Nigeria, You understand? Everybody is free to agitate for secession.
Yeah.
But it depends on how you go about it. But the strategies in which they are pushing, the ways in which they are going about it is not correct. I agree with, I can agree on that. But you see, Ipob have every right, you understand, to agitate to leave the country. For heaven's sake, they are being marginalized.
Okay, now, we know, like you talked about marginalization, Ipob have the right to agitate for secession, and should secession come through, since we're in democracy, should it come through violent or through referendum?
No, it should come through referendum.
Okay.
You understand? Because violence has never paid for any country.
Because you are a political scientist.
Yes.
And you are a convener of governance and democracy in Africa.
Yes.
Now, in your organization, do you have IPOB members? Do you have IPOB members?
We have members cut across every groups in the country.
Okay.
We don't look at who is who, or if you're Igbo, or if you're IPOB, or if you're Oduduwa, or if you're Arewa.
You're just concerned with good governance.
Good governance, and one Nigeria. We believe in one Nigeria and everything that comes in with it. You get? Right. But we do not believe in a situation where people use violence to propagate a political, will. You understand? You don't use violence to propagate a political will. But yes, like I said earlier on in my opening statement, that some of these politicians deserve to be beaten in this country. You can't take that away from this. See, some of these politicians deserve to be beaten in this country.
So why do you say that?
Why do I say so?
Yeah.
See, especially in Nigeria, in fact, especially in Africa, leadership has always been our problem. Many people blame it on colonialism and all that. But for how long will we continue to blame on colonialism and see the problem that the problem are our leaders? Okay. These people, since when you were born, since when I was born, since I came to know myself as a man, same old politicians keep recycling themselves. Yeah. Same old bourgeoisie, same old elites. Don't you think they deserve beating to be pushed out of there?
Beating cannot push them. They will go to hospital in Europe and America, and of course, some of the IPOB members have said that they don't want to see.
They don't want to see them.
Any Nigerian politicians abroad seeking medical help. What do you have to say about that? Nigerians will love that.
As a matter of principle, if you are a leader, we have this current president of Malaysia. At 93, he was voted for. Why? When he got ill in the past as a public official in Malaysia, he refused going abroad. He said if they cannot restructure and revitalize their own hospitals, their health system to be able to cater for all, then there is no leadership. They will not boldly say that they have entrenched quality leadership in the state. As a leader, we should first have confidence in the processes, in the facilities in your country. I don't think I will support any leader to fly away, and that's why they're not doing anything to put our hospitals and medical facilities in good condition, because they have the luxury to fly away to India and other places to obtain quality health care services, but what of the ordinary Nigerians?
So you would
I will support the fact that Nigerians will beat all those ones going to seek medical attention. But I will not support a particular segment of the people threatening leaders, like the threats issued recently to President Muhammadu Buhari in Japan by the leader of Ipob, ordering them to arrest the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is not just an embarrassment but shameful to the country as a whole. This is a president that holds a prominent position in the African community. Of course. For him to be threatened like that by riffraff who ran away from the country means our systems are not working. And this is why I will call on the federal government to invoke the necessary diplomatic processes and ensure that runaway leader of IPOB is extradited to this country and prosecuted. He jumped bail. He's a wanted criminal. He should not see anywhere as a safe haven, because Nigeria has established treaties which are incorporated in our constitution by virtue of Section 12. And he should be repatriated to face the court processes that has been going on before he fled. Now he jumped bail and he should come back to face the music.
Thank you very much for that wonderful one. Comrade Acha, yes. The man Nnamdi Kanu is absconded, jumped bail, and is in far away. Some people say he's in Israel, some say he's in US, others said he's in the UK. some part of the Igbo youth were saying he doesn't have, investment in Nigeria or in the eastern region, not even NGOs. And this is a man controlling members of the indigenous people of Biafra. So what's your take on that? Is it that he's trying to instigate or incite war on Ndigbos here, or is propagating an ideology?
Well, the ideology itself has been there right from time.
Okay.
It's an ideology that Ojukwu fought for. And even after fighting for that ideology, he ran away, like we all know, came back, contested the senator and he still lost. Even the Igbos did not vote him, contested the president and he still lost. You see, Nnamdi Kanu
that is Ojukwu.
Yes, that's the first person that propagated, that started propagating this idea.
And even at then, Nigeria have this integration.
Yes, then there was this integration. In fact, then Nigeria was in a better place as regards to unity than now.
Yes, the federal character was maintained.
It was well maintained. Unlike now, whereby you see that almost everything are being headed by the North. And my fellow analyst here said Buhari is of good whatever. But to me, Buhari is an ethnic jingoist.
Why do you say that?
Why do I say that? It's clear for everybody to see. You understand? Almost all the parastatals, the top parastatals in the country are being headed by the North. The whole security outfits in the country are being headed by the North. The Security Council, of this country being headed by the North.
But don't you think in politics, like you're a political scientist, he's a commander-in-chief.
Of course.
And we've had, presidents from the eastern part of the country. We've had
just one ceremonial president from the eastern part of the country.
That is Nnamdi
Kanu. And Nnamdi Azikiwe, thank you. Okay. And after that, the only person we had close to government again was Alex Ekweme, who was vice president.
All right. Well, we will not go into that segregation.
Yes.
That statement seems that the president have the power, the constitutional power, even under a federal character, to appoint whoever he wants to appoint.
Yes, but
and you couldn't say he's an ethnic jingoist, because if President Goodluck Jonathan had wanted to choose from anywhere, is a personal character.
But did he not choose from different parts of the country? Nigerian society is a heterogeneous society.
Okay, for instance, the ministers, the 43 ministers and the 44 ministers per se, do they not represent federal character?
Well, you can say that about the minister, because he must choose everybody. Each person from each state. He must choose one person from every state. That one he doesn't have it. But we're talking about the Security Council as far as this country is concerned. We're talking about the top, apparatus, the top institutions of government that are being headed by the Northerners. We're talking about even the recruitment of people in the DSS. That only from the south we had only about 44 people. From the north we had about 160 something people, and from the west we had about less than 50 people. Why should it be like that?
Okay. Another day we will look into that topic, federal character.
Yes.
But you now, you are saying that the ideology has been there.
Nnamdi Kanu is only riding on it.
Okay,
let me make an input.
I have.
One thing with Nnamdi Kanu is that while he's inciting hatred against Ndigbo, he does not have the capacity to protect Ndigbo when this issue backfires. What am I saying? If Ndigbo arrests or attempts to embarrass President Muhammad Buhari in Kano with the polarized nature of our politics in Nigeria, the polity is already demarcated along regional and ethnic lines. If they start unleashing their anger on Ndigbos in Nigeria, what will Nnamdi Kanu do from UK to protect the lives and properties of Ndigbo scattered all over the north?
Somebody who ran away.
If we are talking of Ndigbo 2023 presidency, with this new development from the IPOB leader, is it doing Ndigbo any good? In fact, I'm of the opinion that he has been sponsored by enemies of the Igbo nation to cultivate the spirit of hatred against Ndigbo in the hearts of Northerners. Because this is a time that every Igbo son, patriot in Igbo land, should work towards the unity of this country, work towards a peaceful coexistence, so that people from the other parts of Nigeria will come to trust Ndigbo ahead of the 2023 presidency. We see what the Southwest is doing. Odua People's Congress, they are now forging alliance with the army to eradicate crimes from the West. What is the IPOB doing for the interest of Ndigbo in Nigeria?
And unfortunately, right now, IPOB can't do anything because they've been proscribed.
They are proscribed.
All right. That is where your last take on this before we close. We have just 3 minutes to go.
Okay, well, as far as I'm concerned, Nnamdi Kanu remains a nuisance. But we cannot, look at Nnamdi Kanu and use him to judge the whole Igbo nation. You should understand that even within Ipob...
Are you expecting the Ndigbo general body to also come out to denounce?
They have denounced.
No, of course they have denounced.
I thought it's only the youth.
And you should know that even within Ipob,
Okay.
you understand, there are some intellectuals there that don't believe in the strategies of Kanu. See, the agitation in the first place, the ideology is not wrong.
Politically, what do you think they should do? How do they go about the referendum?
About the referendum, dialogue. You understand?
Do you think the Senate and the House of Rep could do that for them?
You see, as far as Nigeria is concerned, the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. You understand? But you can agitate. Okay. That is why it is a democracy.
All right, thank you very much, Comrade Acha, for coming into this program.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Comrade Silvano Zope, for that wonderful take also, for coming up on Spectacle program. That is where we will stop today on Spectacle program. Don't forget that Spectacle is still open to sponsorship, and like we said, we can tell it to the world for you about your scorecards, your profile, your visions, your aspirations, and so on. That is what we represent. The world will hear you better through us. And that's where we'll stop today. Thanks for watching, and see you another time. I'm Daniel Atai.